What are the origins of Nguni? Who are Ngunis? Are they related to BaKalanga? The black South Africans are divided into 5 major ethnic groups. First, the Nguni. Second, the Sotho or Tswana. Third, the Tsonga or Shangaan. Fourth, the Venda. And fifth, the Khoisan. The Nguni are divided into 4 groups: Zulu, Xhosa, Swati, and Ndebele. The Nguni represent about 2/3 of South Africa's black population. According to some historical sources, they migrated from northeast to the Great Lakes region of sub-equatorial, Central and East Africa. They then followed the eastern part of Southern Africa in their southward bound. 2,000 years ago, they entered what is now South Africa. At some point along their southward journey, they came into contact with the Sun Hunters and Khoi herders, which they absorbed. Historical sources say they inherited the click sounds from the Khoisan people. As a result, their languages today are characterized by the click sounds. Around 1400 AD, there was another big wave of migration. About 100 years before the Europeans rounded the Cape of Good Hope, this migration took place. As they settled in southern Africa, the Nguni people split into different groups known today: the Swati in the north, the Zulu towards the east, the Ndebele in the northwest, and the Xhosa in the south. Because these people had a common origin, their languages and cultures showed marked similarities. What are the origins of the word Nguni? The word Nguni is mostly used by academics as a collective term for the inhabitants of the eastern regions of southern Africa, from Eswatini through KwaZulu-Natal to the Transkei in the Eastern Cape. From a historical perspective, the word became popular recently in the 19th century and is now more popular in the literature on Southern African ethnography, linguistics, and history. In old literature and history, the peoples now called Nguni had been variously labeled as Swati, Hlubi, Ndebele, Zulu, or Xhosa. Because oral tradition is the main way Nguni people tell their history, most of the definitions of the word were oral. The earliest documented usage of the word dates back to the 14th century, when survivors of a ship that was sunk off the coast of present-day northern KwaZulu found themselves in what they call a Banguni territory. The second documentation of the term was the story of a hunter called Henry Francis Finn, who operated as a hunter and trader at Port Natal from 1824 to 1834. He recorded that the region west of Port Natal was the region of Awangoni. The region where Finn operated from Port Natal to Pondoland is the Xhosa territory. This means the word Abangoni referred to the Xhosa who lived in the southwest of Port Natal. Soha, in his book titled The Southeastern Bantu, published in 1930, used the term Nguni, taken from the natives of Natal, referring to the land of Nguni or Xhosas, which lies west of Natal. According to Bryant, in the Zulu kingdom, the title Nguni referred only to the ruling clan, but the Soto to the west generally called all Zululand inhabitants Bakoni, and the Tonga to the north called them Banguni. Thompson documented that in the 1830s, Dr. Andrew Smith, who traveled from Cape to Highveld regions, used the word Abengoni, generally referring to the people who lived east of the Drakensberg area. All these documentations seems to prove that the Nguni name referred to the Bantu people who occupied the southeastern area from Eswatini through KwaZulu to the Eastern Cape. Some scholars would group them as Embo, Lala, and Tonga Nguni. How are the Nguni related to other Bantu peoples in southern Africa? According to other oral historical sources, the Nguni people are an offshoot of the Kalanga people. These sources considered Mnguni as the name of an ancestor of the Nguni people. According to this claim, Nguni was one of the offsprings of a known Kalanga ancestor called Dzivagulu in Kalanga, Cibikulu in Nguni, and in English it means a big natural lake. There are three known sons of Dzivagulu: Kaluva, Saluvimbi, Luvimbi, and Mnguni. To get a deep understanding, let us find out who are Luvimbi and Kaluva's descendants. In the Zambezi Valley in present-day Zimbabwe, there is a Bantu ethnic group called the Tavara people, a subgroup of the Kalanga. These people trace their origins to Kaluva or Karuva. Before Mutota and his Mwenemutapa dynasty came, the Tavara were settled with the Tonga in the Zambezi Valley in present-day Zimbabwe. The Romwe, Mbedzi, and Save, Dziva, Siziva, Muyambo, Mlambo trace their origins to Luvimbi. These people are scattered all over Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, and Mozambique. Other ethnic groups who are descendants of these Kalanga ancestors include the Bebe Ndumba clan, the Ngwenya Mukwena clan, the Doma Ostrich people, the Hungwe Malunga, and many others. The Kalanga and the Nguni have many cultural similarities. Most of their totems are water-based creatures. They both trace their origins to the east, and both perform rain-making ceremonies. To finish this episode, let's dig into another meaning or origin of the name Nguni. Several oral historical sources define the word as a title derived from their society's accepted behavior. They are called Abangoni because they don't tolerate evil. By this definition, all kingdoms built through bloodshed are condemned because Umngoni doesn't tolerate evil. In other words, it shows the kind of a Bantu society that seeks divine ruling and justice. According to historical books, most Nguni kingdoms were violent and bloody. However, from this perspective, the behavior is the opposite of what Abangoni means.